First contact in canine communication. In the year 2157, humanity had just begun to venture beyond its solar system when they encountered their first alien civilization. The Zrics, a highly advanced species from the Andromeda galaxy, arrived in Earth's orbit in a massive ship that dwarfed anything humans had ever constructed. As panic spread across the globe, world leaders scrambled to formulate a response. The Zrics, however, seemed more interested in Earth's canine population than its human inhabitants. Their initial transmissions puzzled scientists and linguists alike, filled with references to loyal companions and untapped potential. Dr. Samantha Chen, a xenolinguist at the forefront of humanity's efforts to communicate with the Zrics, found herself working tirelessly to decipher their strange messages. It wasn't until a chance encounter with her own golden retriever, Max, that she stumbled upon a breakthrough. While taking a break from her research to walk Max in the park near her lab, Dr. Chen noticed a small disc-like device floating nearby. As she approached it cautiously, the device emitted a soft blue light that enveloped Max. To her astonishment, she heard a voice, not from the device, but from Max himself. "Sam, why do you look so surprised?" "Is there something on my face?" Max's words came out clear as day, his canine mouth moving in sync with the speech. Dr. Chen stumbled backward, her mind reeling from the implications. The Zrics hadn't just come to Earth to make contact. They had brought technology that could give voice to humanity's oldest animal companions. News of the canine communicator, as it came to be known, spread like wildfire. Within days, similar devices appeared in major cities around the world. Dogs of all breeds and sizes suddenly found themselves able to express their thoughts and feelings in human language. The impact was immediate and profound. Families were overjoyed to finally understand their beloved pets, while working dogs in various fields, from law enforcement to search and rescue, became even more valuable assets. However, not all the revelations were pleasant. Some dogs expressed long-held grievances about their treatment, leading to a wave of guilt and soul-searching among pet owners. As humanity grappled with this new reality, the Zrics finally made their true intentions known. They requested a meeting with Earth's leaders, facilitated by Dr. Chen and her team. In a historic broadcast viewed by billions around the world, the Zrics ambassador, a tall, ethereal being with shimmering silver skin, addressed humanity. "People of Earth," the ambassador began, its voice resonating with a musical quality, "we come to you not as conquerors, but as seekers of wisdom. For millennia, we have observed the unique bond between humans and their canine companions. This connection, built on mutual trust and affection despite the barriers of language, has fascinated us. We believe it holds the key to solving a great crisis that threatens not just our civilization, but the entire galaxy." The ambassador went on to explain that the Zrics were part of a vast galactic council, comprising hundreds of advanced civilizations. This council faced a dire threat from a mysterious force known as the Void, an entity that consumed entire star systems and left only darkness in its wake. The Zrics believed that the human-canine bond, strengthened by their communication technology, could be the weapon needed to combat this cosmic horror. As the broadcast concluded, Dr. Chen found herself at the center of a whirlwind of activity. She was tasked with leading Earth's efforts to understand and utilize the canine communicator technology, working alongside Zric scientists to unlock its full potential. Meanwhile, dogs around the world began to organize. With their newfound ability to communicate complex ideas, they formed advocacy groups, pushing for better treatment and recognition of their intelligence. Some even expressed a desire to participate in human society in more meaningful ways, from politics to the arts. The world was changing rapidly, and humanity found itself facing not just the prospect of joining a galactic community, but also redefining its relationship with its oldest animal companions. As night fell on this momentous day, Dr. Chen sat in her lab, Max by her side, pondering the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead. "You know, Sam," Max said, resting his head on her lap, "I always knew we'd make history together. I just never imagined it would be quite like this." Dr. Chen scratched behind his ears, a gesture that now carried even more meaning. "Neither did I, Max. But whatever comes next, I'm glad we're facing it together." As they gazed out the window at the Zrix ship hovering in the night sky, both human and dog felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. The universe had suddenly become much larger, and humanity's place in it far more complex. But with their canine friends now able to stand beside them as true partners, perhaps they were more prepared for the challenges ahead than anyone could have imagined. The Galactic Council's dilemma. As Earth adjusted to the revolutionary changes brought about by the canine communicators, Dr. Samantha Chen and her team worked tirelessly to understand the full implications of the Zrix technology. Their efforts were soon rewarded with an invitation that would change the course of human history, a summons to attend a session of the Galactic Council. The journey to the Council's headquarters, located in a distant star system, was a testament to the Zrix's advanced technology. Dr. Chen, along with a small delegation of human leaders and a select group of canine representatives, embarked on a voyage that would have taken centuries with Earth's most advanced spacecraft. Instead, they arrived in mere days, thanks to the Zrix's faster-than-light travel capabilities. The council chamber was a marvel of alien architecture, a vast amphitheater suspended in space, offering a breathtaking view of the surrounding galaxy. Representatives from hundreds of alien civilizations filled the chamber, their diverse forms a striking reminder of the vastness and variety of life in the universe. As the Earth delegation took their seats, Dr. Chen couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and trepidation. Max, seated beside her, seemed to sense her unease. "Remember, Sam," he said, his voice low and reassuring, "we're here because they need us. Whatever happens, we face it together." The council session began with a sobering presentation on the threat posed by the void. Holographic displays showed entire star systems being engulfed by an inky blackness that defied all known laws of physics. The void, it seemed, was not just consuming matter and energy, but the very fabric of space-time itself. For millennia, the Council's High Arbiter, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline form, addressed the chamber. "We have sought a way to combat this threat. Our most advanced weapons and shields have proven useless against the void's inexorable advance. But now, thanks to the Zrix's discovery, we may have found our salvation in the most unexpected of places, the bond between humans and their canine companions." The High Arbiter went on to explain that the emotional connection between humans and dogs generated a unique form of energy, one that the void seemed unable to consume. The canine communicators, far from being mere translation devices, were actually sophisticated instruments for harnessing and amplifying this energy. As the implications of this revelation sank in, murmurs of excitement and skepticism rippled through the chamber. Dr. Chen felt the weight of countless alien gazes upon her and the Earth delegation. "We propose," the High Arbiter continued, "a bold plan to create a network of these devices across the galaxy, powered by the bond between humans, dogs, and other compatible species. This network could potentially generate a force field capable of halting the void's advance." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien voices, some expressing hope, others voicing doubts. Dr. Chen found herself thrust into the center of a galactic debate, called upon to explain the intricacies of the human-canine bond and its potential as a weapon against cosmic destruction. As she spoke, Dr. Chen realized the enormity of what was being asked of humanity. They were being called upon to play a crucial role in the defense of the galaxy, a responsibility that would forever change Earth's place in the cosmic order. However, not all members of the Council were convinced. A faction led by the Trokans, a highly logical species that had long ago abandoned all forms of emotional attachment, argued against placing the fate of the galaxy in the hands of such a young and emotional species as humans. How can we trust the survival of countless civilizations to a species that has barely mastered interplanetary travel? The Drokan representative challenged. And to base our defense on an emotional bond with lesser creatures. It is illogical and doomed to failure. The debate raged on, with various factions arguing for and against Earth's involvement. Through it all, Dr. Chen and Max stood firm, their unwavering partnership a living testament to the power of the bond they represented. As the session stretched on, it became clear that the Council was deadlocked. Some saw humanity as the galaxy's last hope, while others viewed them as an unpredictable variable in an already precarious situation. The High Arbiter, sensing the impasse, made an unprecedented decision. "We shall put this matter to a test," the crystalline being announced. The Earth delegation will be given one planetary cycle to demonstrate the potential of their bond. They will attempt to create a small-scale version of the proposed defense network in a system currently threatened by the void. If they succeed, we will proceed with the full-scale implementation of their solution. If they fail, we must pursue other options. As the council session adjourned, Dr. Chen felt the full weight of responsibility descend upon her shoulders. They had one chance to prove that humanity and their canine companions could indeed be the saviors of the galaxy. Returning to their quarters, Dr. Chen and Max began to plan their strategy. They would need to work closely with the Zurich scientists to modify the canine communicators for this new purpose, while also selecting a team of humans and dogs whose bonds were strong enough to power the experimental network. "You know, Sam," Max said as they pored over holographic schematics, "when I used to chase squirrels in the park, I never imagined I'd one day be chasing away a cosmic horror." Dr. Chen chuckled, grateful for Max's ability to lighten the mood even in the face of such daunting challenges. "Life's full of surprises, isn't it? But I can't think of anyone I'd rather face this with than you, old friend." As they continued their preparations, news of the Council's decision was transmitted back to Earth. The response was a mix of excitement, fear, and determination. Humanity had been given a chance to prove itself on the galactic stage, and they were determined not to squander it. All across the planet, humans and dogs began working together in new ways, strengthening their bonds and learning to harness the energy that flowed between them. Research facilities sprang up to study the phenomenon, while training programs were established to prepare human-canine teams for the challenges ahead. As Earth mobilized for its greatest challenge yet, Dr. Chen and Max found themselves at the heart of a movement that would determine not just humanity's fate, but that of countless civilizations across the galaxy. The clock was ticking, and the void was approaching. It was time for humanity to show the universe what they were truly capable of. Humanity's unexpected alliance. As the Earth delegation prepared for their crucial test, they received an unexpected visitor. Kira, a young Zurich scientist, approached Dr. Chen with a proposal that would change the course of their mission. "Dr. Chen," Kira began, her silvery skin shimmering with excitement, "I believe I found a way to enhance the power of the human-canine bond exponentially. But it will require a level of connection that goes beyond anything you've experienced before." Intrigued, Dr. Chen listened as Kira explained her theory. By modifying the canine communicators to create a two-way neural link, humans and dogs could share not just thoughts, but sensory experiences and emotions. This deeper connection, Kira believed, would generate an energy field powerful enough to repel the void. The proposal was met with mixed reactions. While some saw it as their best chance for success, others worried about the potential risks of such an intimate mental connection. Dr. Chen, however, saw the potential and volunteered herself and Max as the first test subjects. The procedure was intense. As the modified communicator hummed to life, Dr. Chen felt a rush of sensations that weren't her own. She could smell scents she'd never noticed before, hear sounds beyond the range of human hearing. More than that, she could feel Max's unwavering loyalty and love, as if it were a tangible force. For Max, the experience was equally profound. He found himself grasping complex scientific concepts, seeing the world through human eyes. The bond between them, always strong, now felt unbreakable. As they emerged from the procedure, both human and dog knew they had crossed a threshold. Their connection had become something entirely new, a melding of human intellect and canine instinct that held untold potential. Word of the successful experiment spread quickly, and soon other human-canine pairs were volunteering for the procedure. Each successful linking added to the growing energy field that they hoped would be their weapon against the void. However, as the day of the test approached, they received alarming news. The void's advance had accelerated, and it was now threatening a populated system much closer than anticipated. The Galactic Council, in an emergency session, gave the Earth delegation a new directive. They would have to make their stand in this system, with billions of lives hanging in the balance. As they raced towards the threatened system, Dr. Chen and her team worked feverishly to prepare. The plan was to create a network of linked human-canine pairs around the system's perimeter, generating an energy field that would hopefully halt the void's advance. Upon reaching the system, they were met with a scene of chaos. The inhabitants, a species known as the Lyrans, were in the midst of a mass evacuation. Their fear was palpable, adding an extra layer of urgency to the Earth team's mission. As they began setting up their defense network, they encountered an unexpected obstacle. The Lyrans, it turned out, had an intense phobia of canines due to an ancient predator on their homeworld. The sight of the Earth dogs sent them into a panic, threatening to derail the entire operation. It was Max who found the solution. Using his newly enhanced intelligence, he proposed a plan to win the Lyrans' trust. He and the other dogs would link with Lyran volunteers, allowing them to experience firsthand the loyalty and courage that defined the human-canine bond. The plan was risky, but they had no other choice. To everyone's surprise, it worked. The Lyrans, experiencing the world through canine senses, began to overcome their fear. More than that, they found themselves drawn to the dogs, forming bonds of their own. As the void approached, casting its ominous shadow over the system, the defense network sprang to life. Humans, dogs, and now Lyrans stood together, their combined energy creating a shimmering barrier between the system and the encroaching darkness. For a tense moment, it seemed as though their efforts might not be enough. The void pressed against the barrier, seeking weak points, threatening to overwhelm them. But then, something extraordinary happened. The Lyrans, inspired by the courage they sought in their human and canine allies, began to sing. Their song, a haunting melody that spoke of hope in the face of darkness, resonated with the energy field. The barrier strengthened, pushing back against the void with renewed force. As the hours stretched on, the defenders held their ground. Humans and dogs, linked in mind and spirit, stood firm alongside their new Lyran allies. Slowly, inexorably, the void began to retreat. When it was finally over, when the last traces of darkness had been pushed back beyond the system's borders, a cheer went up that seemed to shake the very stars. They had done it. Against all odds, this unlikely alliance of humans, dogs, and aliens had stood against the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known, and won. As news of their victory spread, the implications began to sink in. Humanity, once seen as a primitive species barely worth notice, had proven themselves to be invaluable allies in the fight against cosmic destruction. The human-canine bond, combined with the unexpected addition of the Lyrans' unique abilities, had created a force more powerful than anyone could have imagined. Dr. Chen, exhausted but elated, knelt down to embrace Max. As she did, she felt the thoughts and emotions of not just her canine partner, but of the Lyrans and other humans around them. Their shared experience had created something new, a community of minds united in purpose and understanding. "You know, Sam," Max said, his tail wagging despite his fatigue, "I think we just changed the galaxy." Dr. Chen laughed, tears of joy and relief streaming down her face. "We sure did, old friend. We sure did." As they prepared to return to the Galactic Council, Dr. Chen knew that nothing would ever be the same. Humanity had found its place. The intergalactic showdown, the victory against the void in the Lyran system, had resounding consequences across the galaxy. As Dr. Chen, Max, and their team returned to the Galactic Council, They were met with a mixture of awe, gratitude, and lingering skepticism. The council chamber buzzed with excited discussions about the implications of their success. The High Arbiter called the session to order, their crystalline form glowing with an intensity that reflected the gravity of the situation. Representatives of Earth, they began, you have demonstrated a power beyond our wildest expectations. The combined strength of your human-canine bond, enhanced by the Zrix's technology and amplified by the Lyran's unique abilities, has given us hope in our fight against the Void. However, our battle is far from over. As the High Arbiter spoke, holographic displays showed the Void's movements across the galaxy. While it had been repelled from the Lyran system, it was now advancing on multiple fronts, threatening dozens of inhabited worlds. We must act swiftly, the High Arbiter continued. We propose the immediate implementation of a galaxy-wide defense network based on the model you have demonstrated. But to do this, we will need more than just the participation of Earth. We will need you to share your knowledge, your technology, and your unique bond with other species across the galaxy. The implications of this proposal were staggering. Earth, a planet that had only recently joined the galactic community, was being asked to take a leading role in the defense of the entire galaxy. It would mean sending humans and dogs to distant worlds, teaching other species the intricacies of their bond, and helping them adapt the technology to their own unique physiologies and relationships. Dr. Chen stepped forward to address the council. We are honored by your trust in us, she began, her voice steady despite the enormity of the task before them. Earth stands ready to do its part in defending the galaxy. However, we must stress that what we offer is not just technology, but a way of connection, a bond built on mutual respect, trust, and love. This is not something that can be rushed or forced. It must be nurtured and allowed to grow naturally. Her words sparked a heated debate among the council members. Some argued for a more aggressive approach, wanting to rapidly replicate the Earth model across the galaxy. Others, particularly those from species that had no equivalent to Earth's dogs, questioned whether such bonds could be formed at all in their societies. As the debate raged on, an alarm suddenly blared through the council chamber. The Void, it seemed, had accelerated its advance far beyond previous predictions. Multiple star systems were now under imminent threat, including several that were home to council member species. In this moment of crisis, it was Max who stepped forward, his voice carrying clearly through the chamber thanks to the canine communicator. We don't have time for debate, he barked, silencing the shocked council members. Every moment we argue, more lives are at risk. We need to act now together. Our strength isn't just in our technology or our bonds. It's in our diversity, in the unique perspectives and abilities each species brings to the table. Max's words had a galvanizing effect on the council. Inspired by the wisdom coming from this Earth canine, species that had been at odds for centuries found themselves nodding in agreement. The High Arbiter, seizing the moment, called for an immediate vote. The result was unanimous. The galaxy would unite behind the Earth model, adapting it to their own unique forms of connection and companionship. What followed was a whirlwind of activity unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Humans and dogs, accompanied by Zrix scientists and Lyran singers, were dispatched to worlds across the galaxy. They worked tirelessly, helping each species discover and strengthen their own unique bonds. On some worlds, they found relationships similar to the human-canine bond, symbiotic partnerships that had evolved over millennia. On others, they had to think creatively, finding connections in the most unexpected places. One aquatic species, for instance, formed a powerful bond with the bioluminescent algae that lit their oceanic cities. As these bonds were formed and strengthened, a vast network began to take shape across the galaxy. Powered by the Zrix technology and amplified by the Lyran's harmonic abilities, it created a shimmering web of energy that spanned countless light years. But the Void was not idle. As if sensing the threat to its advance, it launched a massive assault, striking at multiple points across the galaxy simultaneously. The fledgling defense network was put to the ultimate test. In system after system, Newly bonded pairs stood against the encroaching darkness. The energy of their connections, each unique yet part of the greater whole, pushed back against the void. The battle raged across the stars, a cosmic tug-of-war with the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance. On Earth, billions watched in awe as reports came in from across the galaxy. Humanity, so long isolated on its small blue planet, was now at the heart of the greatest battle the universe had ever known. As the conflict reached its peak, Dr. Chen and Max found themselves back in the Lyran system, coordinating the defense from the place where it had all begun. The void pressed in from all sides, its inky tendrils probing for weaknesses in the energy field. In that moment of crisis, Dr. Chen had an epiphany. It's not just about pushing back, she realized. We need to understand it, to find out why it's doing this. Using the enhanced cognitive abilities granted by her link with Max, Dr. Chen began to analyze the void's patterns. As she did, she noticed something that had been overlooked. The void wasn't just consuming, it was trying to communicate. With this realization, Dr. Chen broadcast a message across the defense network. Don't just resist, she urged. Listen. Try to understand. The void isn't our enemy. It's alone, afraid, trying to connect in the only way it knows how. Across the galaxy, bonded pairs began to shift their focus. Instead of merely generating energy to repel the void, they opened themselves to it, trying to understand its nature. As they did, the tide of the battle began to turn. The void's advance slowed, then stopped. In some places, it even began to retreat. And as it did, something extraordinary happened. Tendrils of darkness began to intertwine with the shimmering energy of the defense network, creating a new pattern of dazzling complexity. As the galaxy watched in awe, the void transformed. No longer a force of destruction, it became a part of the very network created to stop it. The barrier between light and dark, between matter and void, blurred and merged, creating something entirely new. In the aftermath of this cosmic transformation, the galaxy found itself forever changed. The threat of the void was over, but more than that, a new understanding had been reached. An understanding that transcended species, planets, and even the conventional laws of physics. As Dr. Chen and Max stood on the observation deck of the Galactic Council headquarters, watching the newly transformed galaxy swirl before them, they knew that this was just the beginning. Humanity, along with its canine companions and newfound alien allies, was poised on the brink of an adventure beyond imagination. Well, Max, Dr. Chen said, scratching behind his ears, ready for our next big adventure. Max wagged his tail, his eyes twinkling with the reflected light of countless stars. Always, Sam. As long as we're together, there's nothing we can't face. And with that, they turned towards the future, ready to explore the wonders of a galaxy reborn. A new era of understanding. In the years that followed the integration of the void, the galaxy entered an unprecedented era of peace, cooperation, and discovery. The network that had been created to defend against the void now served as an interstellar communication system, allowing for instant exchange of ideas and experiences across vast distances. Earth, once an isolated planet on the fringes of the galaxy, now found itself at the heart of this new galactic society. Humans and their canine companions were sought after as ambassadors, scientists, and teachers, helping other species strengthen their own unique bonds and unlock new potentials. Dr. Samantha Chen and Max, hailed as heroes across the galaxy, chose to continue their work as explorers and researchers. Their enhanced bond allowed them to perceive and interact with the universe in ways that pushed the boundaries of known science. On one particularly memorable expedition, they encountered a species that existed as pure energy, drifting through the vacuum of space. Thanks to their experiences with the void, Sam and Max were able to communicate with these beings, learning that they were the last survivors of a civilization that had transcended physical form eons ago. This discovery led to a revolution in the understanding of consciousness and the nature of reality itself. The boundaries between matter and energy between individual and collective consciousness began to blur. Species across the galaxy started to explore new forms of existence, some choosing to merge their consciousness with the galactic network, becoming part of a vast, interconnected intelligence. However, these rapid changes also brought challenges. Some species, particularly those with more rigid social structures, struggled to adapt to this new reality. There were concerns about the loss of individual identity and the potential risks of such a deeply interconnected galaxy. It was in addressing these concerns that humanity's unique perspective proved invaluable. The human experience, with its complex history of conflicts and reconciliations, provided a roadmap for navigating the challenges of a rapidly changing society. The human-canine bond, with its balance of individuality and connection, became a model for how diverse beings could come together without losing their essential selves. As humanity's influence grew, so did their responsibility. The Galactic Council, recognizing the wisdom in Earth's approach, invited humans and their canine partners to take on leadership roles. Dr. Chen found herself appointed as the head of a new division dedicated to exploring consciousness and facilitating interspecies understanding. One of Dr. Chen and Max's most significant contributions was the development of the Empathy Protocol, a framework for fostering understanding between radically different forms of life. This protocol, which combined the intuitive emotional intelligence of dogs with human analytical skills, became the foundation for galactic diplomacy. The Empathy Protocol faced its greatest test when a probe from outside the galaxy made contact. The being controlling the probe was so alien, so utterly different from anything encountered before, that initial attempts at communication failed completely. It was Max who finally made the breakthrough, using his enhanced senses to perceive patterns in the alien's emissions that everyone else had missed. This contact opened up a whole new chapter in galactic history. The alien, it turned out, was a scout for a vast coalition of galaxies, linked together in a network similar to, but far more advanced than, the one Earth had helped create. Humanity and its allies now found themselves invited to join a community that spanned not just their galaxy, but multiple galaxies across the cosmos. As preparations began for this monumental step, Dr. Chen reflected on the incredible journey that had led them to this point. From the day the Orcs had arrived with their canine communicators, to the battle against the void, to this moment on the brink of intergalactic society, humanity had come further than anyone could have imagined. "You know, Max," she said, looking out at the star-filled sky from the window of their spacecraft, "when I was a little girl dreaming of the stars, I never imagined anything like this." Max, his muzzle now flecked with gray, but his eyes as bright as ever, nuzzled her hand. "And I never imagined I'd be anything more than a simple dog," he replied. "But here we are, about to become intergalactic ambassadors. Life's full of surprises, isn't it?" Dr. Chen laughed, scratching behind Max's ears in a gesture that had become a symbol of the bond between their species. "That it is, old friend. That it is." As their ship prepared to make the jump to meet the intergalactic delegation, Dr. Chen felt a sense of excitement and optimism. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that the strength of the bonds they had forged, between humans and dogs, between Earth and its galactic allies, and now between galaxies, would see them through. The story of humanity's journey to the stars had been one of courage, compassion, and an unwavering spirit of exploration. Now, as they stood on the brink of an even greater adventure, Dr. Chen and Max knew that the greatest chapters were yet to be written. As the stars streaked past their viewport, signaling the beginning of their intergalactic journey, both human and dog felt a shared sense of wonder and determination. Whatever the universe had in store for them, they would face it together, their bond a testament to the power of understanding, empathy, and love. And so, humanity and its faithful companions took their first steps into a larger universe, ready to learn, to teach, and to forge new bonds across the cosmic tapestry. The adventure that had begun with a simple device allowing dogs to speak had led to the dawn of a new era of cosmic cooperation and discovery. As their ship vanished into the depths of intergalactic space, the galaxy they left behind pulsed with the energy of countless bonds, a shining beacon of hope and unity in the vast cosmic ocean. The legacy of Earth and its dogs, a story of unlikely heroes and unexpected alliances, would be told across the stars for eons to come.